Hello everyone, my name is Jaco van Gas and I am a two-time Paralympic champion. I'm delighted to welcome you to this Paralympic series special of the Beyond Disability podcast, where we will be talking all about the exciting upcoming games and you will hear from some incredible athletes. So make sure that you click the follow button to never miss an episode, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Beyond Disability podcast. This is a Paralympic special series and this is the first episode of that. And I think just to start off, let's just call it pedal to the metal. My name is Jaco van Gas. I am a Paralympic cyclist, having gone to Tokyo. I'm a two-time Paralympic champion. I've also served in the armed forces. That's where I sustained my injury. I lost my arm through my second tour of duty to Afghanistan. And I've always used sport as a degree of my rehabilitation and just a general way of life. So this is my first time hosting a podcast, so I'll add that to the palmares, depending on how well this episode goes. And I think that all comes down to to my guest, Finley Graham. A very warm welcome, Finn. I'll let you introduce a little bit yourself. You've got a very long palmares, probably longer than mine as well, in the sport of paracycling. So please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Finley Graham, and like Jaco, I am on the Great Britain paracycling team, where I also went to Tokyo and finished runner-up to Jaco in one of the races, and then I also got another silver medal. So yeah, two-time silver medalist. I was born with club feet and bilateral talipes, so I've had my condition my whole life. And I've been involved in cycling my whole life. I didn't really get into the para side of things until 2016, in which I then kind of joined the para squad, the foundation, and then moved into the full-time cycling in 2018. And it's just kind of gone from there, and it's been amazing being part of the team.
No, truly, you have truly just stepped up and taken on the cycling world by storm, and truly one of the guys to beat and to also, look out for in the upcoming Paralympic Games in Paris, which I don't know about you, I'm very excited about. We both shared, the experience in Tokyo. I've always been, and I make it very clear that I've been a prodigy of London 2012. I was at the back end of my military career. I was injured. I had to leave the army, and I didn't know what to do and where I was going to go. Where was life going to take me? And I actually got discharged from the army in 2012, and sitting in London whilst the game was going on, I was so inspired. I then actually went to some of the events, and I was a guy in the crowd looking down on these athletes, seeing how they perform, and I was blown away. But the one thing that absolutely blew my mind was just as well as like the crowds, how the crowds was so interactive, so amazed and blown away, and just like I said, I was part of that. And that inspired me to become, to become a Paralympic athlete. Eventually that happened, and then we went to Tokyo, and and we had no crowd.
Yeah, the crowds were not that. I mean, to be fair, it was like, again, I was going to say, I've not experienced London, but again, a lot of the people in the squad talk about how good that was, and just how that's the one that they loved going to, and obviously it was being a home games for everyone. But so I kind of came in and I was like, all the para races we've been to, the crowd is virtually non-existent in most of them. But then you're then working towards Tokyo, going, the crowd's going to be amazing. You're going to get to experience the whole games, and then COVID got in the way, and I mean it was still an amazing opportunity to go to the games, but the atmosphere was, I don't know what a normal games atmosphere is like because I've not experienced one, but I think in some ways for me I think I quite liked it, just in the sense that if I had everything all in one, it could have been a bit overwhelming, and I might have, I don't know, I feel like I was able to focus on my performance and get everything out of that, and now hoping for Paris, obviously assuming selection for everything, but I know the processes to go through to get the best out of myself now, that I'll be able to like enjoy the crowd, hopefully, as it'll be as close to home games as we'll get, really. And I still think, and I might be being biased here, but the home worlds in Scotland last year, that was like, that's going to take a lot to beat. Like racing in a full velodrome there with the Scottish crowd, and managing to win a world title in front of a home crowd was something special. And it's that was my first experience of like big crowds, which it made so much difference.
No, I fully agree with you. Like I said, I think looking back on it now, obviously it was extremely sad. You know, we you know, not just me and you, every single athlete across the board, across every single sport there is, works so hard, and it's the one time in every 4 years we have the ability to showcase ourselves and to show the world how amazing parasport is, and how the very high levels that we compete at, and sadly, you know, not everyone could be there, and especially I think friends and family, you know, these are the people that invest just as much as you, because they, you know, the sacrifices you make, they are directly involved in that. And I think I fully agree with you. Like, it was actually not a bad thing not having the crowd, because like you say, we really purely just focus on our performance, and it was a great, this is how I perform at one of the biggest events every 4 years, and not having to worry about the crowd. But like I say, I know for a fact, and I remember that feeling still so vividly, standing on a podium receiving a medal. The one thing that really broke my heart was I just wanted to see my wife. I just wanted to see my wife's face, you know, in the crowd, and she wasn't there. And I think, but like you mentioned, we've now built up nicely again over the last 3 years, and you know, and Glasgow was just unbelievable. So, you know, I like I said, I think it's going to be hard to top that, and I think there's only one event maybe that's going to top that, and that's going to be Paris, because just having those, I think everyone, you know, from Olympic and Paralympic side of it, just having crowds again at the games is going to be amazing. And every nation tries to outdo the other one, and I think Paris has really thrown everything at it. So
hopefully it'll be a good kind of experience, and again get to actually like an experience of full games atmosphere without having to like wake up every morning and do a COVID test and kind of like spit into a tube and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Being quarantined to the hotel and the venue and nothing in between was absolutely. And I think as well, I think that's probably, you know, some of the people listening, or some of the, you know, the people that haven't gone to the games, they don't see that, they don't know about that, they just see us perform on, you know, in the velodrome or on the road. But it was such an odd scenario that we found ourselves in. Like, we were isolated to our hotel and isolated to the venue that you partook in.
In
between,
we were allowed
like you say, you know,
one route on the road bike as well, like there and back to the velodrome, and it was a stupid climb either way you went.
Exactly. You know, and you know, what people didn't see was, you know, that we weren't actually allowed to mingle with a lot of the other nations. Obviously dividing boards everywhere. You know, they were kind of monitoring how many people comes into the dining room. Like you mentioned, you know, the test tubes every single morning of your life, you know, doing that. So it was a total different scenario than what, you know, I've ever expected to go to a games. But then anyway, we've moved on, and like I say, it was a very unique experience. It was one I enjoyed, but we really look forward to Paris, and actually, like I say, get that full game experience that I think that everyone kind of dreams of. So you mentioned earlier, obviously you were born with clubfoot, and you know, you've had a disability all of your life basically, and I would wonder, you know, kind of, I wasn't, obviously I came to disability later on in my life. Do you think there is a difference, or do you? I personally think there is. It takes obviously a great deal of adjustment coming to disability later on, and it's opened up a whole new world for me, and I'm very glad that I'm part of that world now, because it's a very unique one. Is there advantages, disadvantages to your side of you know, from birth, that you had your disability?
I think like it's always hard, because it's like I don't know what if I didn't have a disability, I don't know kind of what I would have done, whether it's allowed opportunities for me. But I'm really lucky in the sense that my parents didn't kind of, they weren't overprotective. They were like encouraging me to like try everything. They didn't let me use it as an excuse, basically. And I think you see that with people, like you see it at times where if they've had a kid that's got a disability, they're overprotective and they don't get to experience what they should be able to, really. Like I've not really found anything yet that it's prevented me from doing. Like I feel like I've been able to, everything I've kind of set my mind to, I've been able to do, basically. And yeah, like living an active lifestyle has helped massively. Like I grew up racing against able-bodied riders, as I didn't really think even about the para sport like route until 2016, as I say, after watching like the Rio games. But yeah, no, I think I'm really lucky in the sense that yeah, I've grown up and just kind of got stuck in with everything, really, and yeah, not let it hold me back. But then yeah, obviously 2016, I watched the Rio games and kind of started to think, oh, maybe Paris sport is an opportunity for me. Not thinking, like, I had no idea about the whole classification system, whether I would be classifiable, kind of the whole ins and outs of being involved with it. But yeah, I think having the disability, it has opened that avenue up for me, and it's allowed me to be in sport. And as again, I always wanted to be in sport from a young age, so it's allowed me to pursue that. Um, but I think yeah, no, like I am lucky that I've been able to do that, and yeah, without like again, my parents have been super supportive of everything that I've wanted to do, and as I've said, they've not let me kind of use it as an excuse. And there was once, actually, when I was at school, my PE teacher in primary school wanted to give me a head start in one of the running races that I had, just because of my impairment, which obviously I'd have been well up for, because I probably would have won it. But apparently my mum kicked off and it was like, no, like starting with everyone else and everything. So it was just like, yeah, you like I don't remember that, but stuff like that. But I think again, yeah, obviously growing up through life, that kind of thing does help you when you are kind of just treated like any normal person, really, and you're not given any special, rather than yeah, all the other kids. But yeah, no, it's been a kind of like eye-opening, like now that I'm involved in parasport and kind of seeing some of the people kind of growing up through it. But yeah, no, I feel like I've had quite a fortunate like upbringing through it all.
No, it's amazing. And kudos to your parents on that front as well, because I think it's, 100% the right thing to do. Yes, we're all different. We all have, but the fact that they've gone, don't let this hold you back. You are no different than anyone else, like you say. And yeah, no, that's just really amazing. And it shows as well, obviously we are within this disabled world that we kind of mingle in within various sports and stuff like that. And just from my personal point of view, nothing bad to the other guys, but I can see, clearly that as a mindset as well. People that have had a little bit more kind of protection and shelter from their parents, having been born with a disability to a degree, and those that haven't, like your parents, were like you live and act as a normal life as possible in every aspect as much as you can. But I've adopted something similar, to my disability, because for me, having been a fully able-bodied guy, to being the prime of my life, the fittest and the strongest I've ever been, to then getting hit by an RPG, waking up 6 days later out of a coma, and then I couldn't feed myself, I couldn't go to the toilet. You go from the prime of your life to needing nurses, doing everything for you. The one thing I said to myself laying there is like, I will rebuild my life to be as able again as I possibly can. Until to this day, I'm similar to you. I forget sometimes that I'm disabled. I literally forget that, to a degree, and we're going to put it, I hate the word disability, but we're going to put it in inverted commas here, that I have a disability, that I have something wrong with me. Because I'm the same. I tend to live life every single day, or as many days as I possibly can, as able as I can, to the fullest as I can. And I think that's really kind of set me in a good place as well, going into life, going into parasport, going to everything that what the future might bring. So yeah, no, that's amazing. And like I say, once again, it's great to hear that, and everyone needs to kind of take on a very similar mentality to that. So while we're on a podcast about stability hosted by Dorset Orthopedics, which is amazing, we both use their products, which is amazing. I have received arm prosthetics from them. I've worked on various projects with them, and I've always seen great gains in it. And whether that's marginal, whether that's huge, whether that's my positional gains, whether even if it's just something that gets me in a slightly better position, and I can actually be more, optimize my position on the bike as well. You've obviously recently stepped into that world as well. Have you seen the help that it provides you as well? That these kind of support structures offer you.
Yeah, 100%. I think again, growing up, obviously I got all my orthotics through the NHS, which I mean, when I was younger and everything, it was like perfect because like they made, obviously again kind of made it to fit my leg and stuff. But then as I started getting older and growing up and kind of becoming more and more active, the NHS aren't making it for that. They're just making it for just the everyday use and stuff like that. And it was like made with plastic, so it would start snapping more often. I would have to get new ones made. And the people that were making them were getting annoyed because they were like, oh, like he shouldn't be so active or whatever and stuff like that. But then when I moved to Manchester in 2018, as I joined the full-time British cycling squad, I was kind of looking at avenues to explore for orthotics, and there was a few other riders on the squad that were using ones and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, oh, who to go to and stuff like that. So then yeah, go along. Ian then kind of fitted me for like an orthotic. I've been using the same one ever since, really, and it's made so much difference on the bike. And I've now got carbon ones for off the bike as well, and it's just like it makes so much difference when you've got the confidence in kind of like brake on you, and it's not going to kind of cause any hindrance or whatever. But yeah, no, I feel like it has made so much difference to my riding, having a cycling specific one rather than just like using the same one for everything.
And I was just gonna say, so you use one every single day, and you've got a cycling specific one, and you've got an off bike one, a kind of day to day, kind of around the house one as well.
Yeah. No, wear one like whenever I've got shoes on or anything. Like I'll wear that one, and then I've got one saved for specifically cycling, which is quite handy.
That's amazing. I've always loved sport and wanted some form of involvement in sport, and the same with me. From a young kid, I've kind of dreamed of being something. Obviously, growing up in South Africa, rugby is a big thing, but again, the pool, the talent is just incredible. So it was always going to be a very hard thing. But sport in general, I broke my knee actually in a rugby match. And through my rehabilitation, that's how I found cycling. I've always had an interest and a passion into cycling. I then joined the army. That kind of totally disappeared. And it's not till after my injury again that I considered various sports. And I tried various other things, like golf for a little while. I did a bit of triathlon. I dabbled my hand at a few little bits and bobs. But cycling was the one I always found the most enjoyable, the one I always kind of just got the most out of. And I loved the fact that I can get on my bike and ride from A to B, and the journey in between was just incredible. How is it that you got into cycling, or what is it about cycling that you love and have the passion for, with all the other sports out there, and maybe what you've tried before?
Yeah, I think like again, I grew up in the borders of Scotland, which again, it's a very kind of like rugby based area. And obviously, yeah, you were talking about rugby. You could have followed most of the South Africans and come and played for Scotland.
You're welcome. We will help you towards your journey to success.
But yeah, no, it's a very rugby heavily kind of based area, which I kind of played a bit in the earlier years of primary school, just kind of like mess about with friends who they've kind of gone on to do some stuff in rugby, but and then football, like anything really, I was just kind of obsessed with. But we also lived not too far from Glentress, which is like a kind of like a renowned, amazing place for mountain biking. They used it for the cross country at the World Championships last year. And to be fair, most people that do mountain biking, when you talk about Glentress, they'll know what you're on about. But yeah, basically, I grew up there. Like my parents were riding, but it was never kind of like fully into it or whatever. But yeah, we'd go along, me and my brother, like before we could even like walk and stuff. They'd kind of take us on the backpack there, and like my mum and dad would be kind of riding like and wanted to look after us. But then obviously as we kind of got older, we'd start joining in with the cycling, messing about in like the little skills areas and stuff like that. And then again, as you get older, you progress more and more, and then like the sibling rivalry comes into it. You want to then start out doing like you want to do the biggest jumps, but then you're like my brother, he's also wanted. So it's like it's just having that. It makes it so much easier when the whole family does it. Not as fun when you're just doing it by yourself. I get more from it when you do it with other people, and having the whole family do it together, it makes it easier. And also it's just like like stuff you can do with each other on the weekend. But I probably did my first mountain bike race when I was about 7 years old, and I loved that side of things as well. Like I was getting my head kicked in, and I was kind of like not kind of getting a good result at all, but I just didn't I really enjoyed that kind of like environment of it. And then again, I probably didn't kind of start training properly for mountain biking until I was maybe like 14-ish, which there was just like when I moved up to the Highlands, there was a local mountain bike club, and it would just be a few times a week we'd go out and do some training sessions. The social side of it and the racing side is a bit that I really, really liked. And then it was up until 2016 I was racing mountain bikes. Like I'd started to kind of maybe think that able-bodied cycling wasn't the route I was going to be able to go down, just because I wasn't getting the results that I was kind of after. So I started doing more like endurance races. So like I raced the Strathpuffer, which is a race locally to me. It's a 24-hour mountain bike race in the winter. I raced that solo when I was, I think, 15 or 16. So just riding of like 24 hours in the Scottish winter, which mainly in the dark. I did that when I was about 15 or 16. And then there's a load of like races around Scotland, like 10-hour long ones. And so like I was doing that up until 16. And then, obviously got involved with British cycling, in which I had to then make the change to road and track cycling. But mountain biking is still kind of where my love of cycling came from, and I'd love going back to it when I can. And there's still stuff in mountain biking that I want to do, like yourself. You've done the Cape Epic. That's something that I'd love to tick off the list. And just those kind of challenges are what I enjoy doing in cycling.
Yeah, amazing. So basically, mountain biking laying those foundations for what you build up onto and achieve this time around, which is amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty new to mountain biking. I've done a tiny bit when I was a kid, obviously growing up in South Africa, but nothing too extreme. So I don't have a high skill level when it comes to the technical stuff.
I heard once I was out riding with John Hewitt, who's our coach actually. He took you to Llandegla once, and you ended up just on like the most like easiest bit of trail or whatever. You end up flying over the handlebars or whatever.
So this is just after lockdown. It's the first time we can meet up. Everyone's well excited. I drove an hour and a half to Wales, North Wales, and 5 minutes into the ride, I fall off and I break my shoulder. So yeah, and like you say, on a very easy bit, there was just 2 little bumps, and I just landed the second one badly. And that's how good my technical skills are. So I stick to like you say, the longer stuff to kind of enjoy it. There's a little bit of technicality, but it's mostly just staying on your bike, really. So that's what I kind of do. So no, that's amazing. But no, like I said, what I love about cycling, I think I've had this conversation with a friend actually just the other day. It must be one of the only sports, pretty much, that doesn't matter your ability or disability, you can ride a bike. If you're paraplegic, you can get on a hand bike. If you're, if you have lost an arm, there's a prosthetic. If you got cerebral palsy, there's a trike. If you're blind, there's a tandem, and every other adaptation possibly you can think of can be almost put on a bike and get people on it. Sometimes, I don't know about you, sometimes we arrive at these competitions and I'm just blown away by people riding a bike. And I'm like, in my head, I struggle to fathom going, why did you choose bike riding when you've got 3 limbs missing? And they're on an upright, they're on a bike that you ride, obviously adapted, but I'm just like, surely there's something else that's easier or less dangerous to a degree. But that's what I love about it as well. Like, they don't give up. You know, they
Oh,
want to ride a bike, and they go and ride a bike. So yeah, and which is truly amazing. As we mentioned earlier, this is a Paralympic special as we head into the Paralympics. So, Finn, predictions. Who's your biggest competitor?
Well, definitely on the track it will be you, and then on the road again, it depends. Like the time trial side of things, there's obviously the current world champion who's German. He's a road only rider, so he doesn't have the track to worry about. So they'll be focusing just on that. But then even this year, I think our road race, we do it with the C1s and the C2s as well, so it's like a combined one. And because it's a French Games, there's a French C2 rider who I think could be in with a shout of fighting for gold. He got bronze in Tokyo in the road race, and I think it's the first time a non C3 rider has ever medaled in the road race. So yeah, he's going to be one to beat as well, I think. But then also there's this going back to the track. There's a Kiwi rider who's kind of starting to improve quite quickly. And in Rio, he broke the world record in the kilometer time trial in Rio, and he got bronze in the pursuit. But I think it'll be I think it'll be the closest racing we've had for quite a while, because I think in Tokyo, me and you were fairly clear of everyone else. Going into Tokyo, I had no idea how we were going to get on. Like my PB before holding camp was a 3:31 or a 3:32, I think. And at that point, I was kind of looking at it going, I'm on the fringes of maybe I could get into a bronze medal ride and maybe kind of push to get a medal, because I'd never. My best result before Tokyo was a bronze medal at a Road World Championships. So I'd never done anything on the track. So I was kind of looking, going, maybe I could get into a bronze ride-off. But then at holding camp, we did a 3K pursuit just to kind of see where we were at. And then, I broke the world record, or broke the world record at the time just. And I was like, okay, right, maybe it could be better than I expected. And then went to Tokyo and just went quicker than I expected to go. Like, it was just, I looked up at the clock and was like, what just happened there? And obviously that was short-lived, because you went and then broke it straight afterwards. But yeah, we were like far clear from everyone else at that point. But I think coming into this one, there's going to be a lot closer racing. It's going to be a lot tighter, and it's like it's going to be close racing, which it'll be good. But again, it's nice when you've got like obviously we are the targets to aim for, but we've got to kind of keep look over our shoulder, and people they're getting closer. But I think it'll be, there's obviously yourself and the Kiwi, and then a few riders on the road will be the kind of main competitors.
Yeah, well, you can always call yourself a former world record holder. You know, you always have that in there.
5 minutes. It's like not very long, but I'm claiming it.
Yeah, well, no, like it's like you say, I think as well, I'm expecting much closer time on this game. So like you say, myself and you, were just miles ahead, in Tokyo above everyone else. But it's definitely closing in on us, and which is good. It's amazing to see the level kind of rising all the time. And I was in a similar process. Like you say, I just didn't know where I was going up into Tokyo. I think mine was before Tokyo, my best time was a 3:29 or something like that. And then similar to yourself, I rode a much faster time somewhere between holding camp and in holding camp. And then, like you say, I was literally the guy after you. You rode a 3:19. In my head, as I was sitting there, I was thinking, if I ride a 3:21 or a 3:20 on a good day, I'll be really happy. I just wanted to break that world record, which was a 3:26, if I remember.
Yeah, it was 26 or 27, which is crazy how quickly that's gone. And if I were to do that now, it would just be like, oh my word, that's so slow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like I say, for me, the pressure you put me on there, because you then rode a 19, I was like, I'm pretty sure with the calculations we did, I'll ride a 20 if I stick on to my pace, basically. And I just basically had to, up the game and went out, much harder than I thought I should do. Stuck it in, and managed to get a good result and get the world record. But no, it was good. It was good games. So just for our listeners as well, so talk us through your program. What does that look like?
Again, on obviously the pursuits, the kind of the first one, and for me on the track, it's the only one I think. I think there was potential of me doing the kilometer time trial, which I'm still not really 100% sure whether I'll be doing that or not, due to just like the factoring of the racing and everything like that. And then I will be reserved for team sprint potentially. So, and again, I'm not expecting to ride that at all. But then, so the pursuit for me on the track, and then kind of get over to the road and try get into the time trial kind of frame of mind as quickly as possible, because I've been caught out a few times now of going from track to the road, and the time trial has taken a hit. Like last year at the Cycling Super Worlds at Glasgow, I did a full track program where we raced like 5 different events, I think 4 or 5 different events, and then went over to do the road and had about a day in between. And I did time trial and missed out on the gold by about a second, I think, which was hard. And then in Tokyo, I missed out on a bronze medal by I think about 2 seconds after having done a full track program. So I need to try to figure out how to not do that. And then we then 2 days after that, we've then got the road race. So 3 events for me, maybe 4, but certainly 3 is the ones that I'm targeting.
Not sure if you've been out and ricked the course or not, or just having had a look at the profile. What do you personally? I think it's a time trial that suits you very much. Your power to weight. You like something hilly. There is a big old hill in it, but the rest of it's very fast. So again, you know, personally, I would back you on this on the time trial. What's your kind of thoughts?
Again, like I've had a quick look on like a GPX file and stuff like that at it. I would like to go out and like ride it and kind of recce it in person. But I do know that there's a bit of a climb in it. So hoping that'll certainly, even if it doesn't kind of have an impact in the time trial, it'll certainly split the road race up, and it should make it a hard fought road race. But I think when you look at like the Glasgow time trial, it had a climb, and I think that's where the difference was made. Canada Road World Championships a couple of years ago had a climb, and it does just kind of split the field massively. And you've got to be able to kind of be as efficient as possible getting up it, and then kind of trying to recover as best as possible on the downhills to then go again, basically. But like obviously it would be nice to make it like third time lucky with the big results in the time trial. But again, I'm going into it with it's the one that everyone wants to win, and obviously it only comes around once every 4 years, so it's gonna give it as much as possible. But not gonna take anything for granted, as it's the biggest event we've got in cycling, and like everyone will be pulling out all the stops to try be the one on the top of the podium.
Yeah, and I know what you mean, because it's hard, because I'm similar to you. I ride both the track and the road, and by the time, that's what I felt with Tokyo. By the time I got to the road event, I was physically and mentally just exhausted. Like
I only did one event in Tokyo, and I was cooked after the track.
Yeah, I had 3 others. So basically, like you say, it's very hard when we do both, and myself and you are very unique in that sense, because I think we're pretty much almost the only guys on the team. And then obviously there's a tandem, there's an endurance tandem that, again, but they do one event on the track, and then pretty much specialist in one event on the road. But there's very few people that does the schedule we do, like we do it. So and it does take a little bit away from it, because like you say, you got to prioritize, and you can't do well at everything, but you want to do well at everything. It's a Paralympic Games. It's a very special opportunity for both of us, and so I think this time around, it was a very good learning curve, but we'll see how we both kind of manage that this time around, really. Any superstitions? Do you have special stuff that you do, processes that you take, or anything before races?
I don't know. I think it's like I'll always I've realized, I think when I'm in the start gate, or when I'm like in the kind of start hut for the time trial, when just after the kind of clocks ticks down from 10, I'll always end up kind of like touching my bike helmet for some reason. Like I think that started in Tokyo, and I then did a good ride, so I think I've then just kind of stuck with doing it. I don't think there's anything else. Like again, you've got the process of like I'll always kind of like shave my legs 2 days out from racing or whatever, and it's just the kind of like you try just follow the same routines and get into the same, just so it's feels the same every time. But yeah, no, I don't think like I've got like, yeah, maybe that one, but nothing else really. What about yourself?
Yeah, also nothing that really stands out. I think I would just not think about anything really. And then if I get a good result, I'll go back. Oh, what did I wear? How did
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
you know, did I wear this sock on the left foot or the right foot?
yeah,
And it's like, and then I'll try to kind of replicate that process once I've done well
yeah,
in something
yeah,
and go, oh, maybe that's good luck. Usually that's not the case. I'll
yeah.
lose the next race and go, okay, yeah, that's. So I don't really have much superstition in terms of special lucky
Yeah.
underwear or
No,
stuff
yeah.
like that. I think there's one thing my wife Catherine, she will probably point it out, and it's not a superstition. It's just something I do. Like again, it's just the nerves. I sit on the start gate on my bike, and I need to get like I need to get like a certain volume of air into my lungs.
Right,
So
yeah.
I just need to. That's how I get ready, or I feel ready. I just need to fill my lungs with a
Yeah.
certain capacity of air, and if I don't get that full volume, I don't feel ready. And even in a race, I feel like I'm shorter in breath than what I
Yeah.
usually will be. So, like you say, for that one, I would say probably like you touch your helmet, but almost
Yeah.
unconsciously. I'm the same. I just need to sit and get right. I need that big breath of air.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm good to go. So yeah. So, but nothing very specific. I don't have a keyring or anything,
Yeah.
or
There's people talk about
that's
like walking
people.
on like a wet towel and stuff like that beforehand. And it's just like that's, yeah, nah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's something I don't. The other one, which I know you will probably have an answer to, and it will be a big lie if you tell me you don't. So, celebrating, do you have a routine or do you practice your celebrations? I don't. I don't. And you've seen me because, first of all, I'm either too
Yeah.
exhausted. I'm actually too exhausted by the time I get to the line to celebrate, or I can't believe that I won.
Yeah.
And the one time I did try to celebrate, I took my hand off the bar, I fell off. So,
Yeah, I'm still gutted that
I
there's no actual photo evidence or anything like that about which we've seen, which is really annoying.
Yeah, exactly. There is no further. I'm telling you the story, but I can
Yeah.
probably tell you something totally different, and there's no evidence. But yeah, like I say, so I've given up on celebrations because, first of all, like I said, usually not in a state to celebrate, or when I do, it goes really wrong. And I've seen quite cool photos of you with your hands up in the air and all kinds of stuff. Is that something you think about when you cross the line?
No, there's certainly events like I was going into Glasgow, and I kind of the target for me was obviously like out of all the races that I was doing, it's like I want to win the IP in front of a home crowd in Scotland, and I want to take the flag from the crowd. Like I want to ride with a Scotland flag. Which yeah, like the morning of it, I'd messaged my parents and I was like, "Where are you sitting?" Just so I know where to come, like for the flag, basically, and stuff like that. So, and I mean, to be fair, before I crossed the line, I was because again, obviously, I was racing yourself. I was looking over to see where you were, and I started celebrating before I'd even crossed the line, and I'd not really kind of thought about that at all. And then as I was riding down the back straight of the velodrome, I'd never gone no-handed on that bike before, and I was like, well, it's not something we practice, and I'm not going to get a better opportunity. So I then just take my. I was like, this could go wrong. This could go amazing. So I did that, and then yeah, obviously then took the Scotland flag. There are a few races where it's like I and again the bigger worlds races, the bigger events, I'll kind of have something in mind maybe. But obviously, it depends how the race pans out as to whether you win solo or if it's a sprint or whatever. But most of the time, it just I get to the line and I'm like, oh, flipping heck, like I need to do something, But yeah, no, it's definitely just a kind of like spur of the moment type thing. And yeah, obviously the last race we just done was in Italy, and it was in Maniago where you fell off, and I was very wary of that. So I was like, I'm not going to go no-handed this time, just because it is also a sprint, and I'll get rolled and I'll end up not winning. But yeah, it's just safer to take one arm off the bars and celebrate like that rather than both. But yeah, no, it's never something that's kind of like pre-thought about unless there's a like big event or kind of stuff like that. But no, it makes it for good photos.
It does make good photos, but yeah, I would say for those out there, don't try this at home because honestly, or actually do. No, I'll reverse that. Do try it at home because, and like I say, I took my hand off and then I came down. Luckily, I had enough of a gap to kind of still get back on my bike.
Yeah, because when we crossed the line, everyone was like, "Jacko crashed," and I was like, "Where?" Like, because we came round for the sprint, and obviously we didn't pass you, and then so everyone was like, he'd come off, and it's like, where's he? Like, I didn't see him, but it's like, oh no, yeah, no, he got off, and then like still managed to cross the line and whatever. So, oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, do it at home. Do train it if you're gonna win races. Yeah. So yeah, I don't win that often, so that's why I don't celebrate. But yeah, no, that's amazing. And then you speak a lot about Glasgow, so I would love to kind of get your thoughts on your medals. Which one really means a lot? Obviously, for me, games. We've mentioned it before. I know you got silver on 2 occasions and stuff like that. But are they up there? I mean, people ask me again because for me it's like, oh, it depends on what time of the year I'm in, what competitions we're building up to, stuff like that. But for me, they still kind of up there. Obviously, incredible achievements, from both myself and from you. But you were mentioning about Glasgow. I know it's a World Championships. It's not the Paralympic Games, but a home crowd, XYZ. Where do they rank?
Yeah, no, certainly. I think for my first major medal, well, obviously I got a bronze just before Tokyo, but the silver in the pursuit, it was something that I wasn't expecting at all. I was kind of going into it like, if I could maybe sneak a bronze, then that would be unreal. But I wasn't expecting to get into gold right off at all. Because I knew that you were going to be up there, and then I was also expecting the Aussie rider to be like gold and silver, because that is what it had been for the past couple of years. So the silver there was like amazing. Obviously in the road race as well, I got a silver, which like I was. Ben ended up winning, another one of our teammates. He ended up winning it. Like, so again, it's not like I lost out, but like I would have liked to have won that one. But yeah, I mean, the fact that Ben won made it just as kind of good. But yeah, no, certainly Glasgow winning the individual pursuit, which is the first time I think, yeah, since Tokyo, it's the first time we'd raced against each other since then. And thankfully, I managed to kind of make it 1-1 after Tokyo, which was nice. And then yeah, like I think I will kind of constantly go on about just, it's not often you get to race in front of your home crowd and also have the opportunity to fight for a world title in front of your home crowd. And the fact that it was the first cycling event of its kind to have like all the cycling disciplines competing in the same place over a couple of weeks in Scotland, and like all the media was kind of watching it. Like there was loads of people watching it on TV, a full velodrome, which again is the first time we've experienced that, crossing the line. And to be fair, again, it was just even the program, it was the first time that we've had qualifying and finals on a different day, so it was a different dynamic, the whole event. Like the para pursuit qualifiers, they were one day, like it was the day before the kind of all the competition started really, and it took up the entire day of just para pursuit qualifying, and we were the last category to go in the day, and I was the last ride of the day, and I don't think I ended up doing my qualifying until about 10:30 at night, which is the weirdest thing on earth. Like you're kind of starting to like get ready to warm up as people are going to bed, and you're like, this it's a bit weird. But and then yeah, we had normally our games or our world championships, we'll do the qualifying in the morning and then the final in the evening, so you don't really get that much time to recover in between in between events. Whereas this one, we did the qualifying on the Wednesday. We then did the kilo on the Thursday. Basically, we had the kilo, the scratch race, and all the other events in between the quali and final. So it was a weird kind of thingy. So we were still like, I was starting the scratch race with the thought of like, obviously I want to win it, but I want to get through it to actually ride the IP. Like, because if one of us had crashed, it would have been like, well, what happens now? That like, but yeah, coming into the IP final, it was crossing the line and winning it. It's definitely I think I'm going to say it's higher than the games medals. I think obviously because it was a win as well. But yeah, no, that at the minute that's ranked kind of my best medal. Yeah, just winning in a home crowd, and as we've said, it's going to take a lot to beat that, and hopefully Paris will live up to it. But yeah, I think it's not often you get to race in your home ground and win a world title in your home country.
No, it's very true. It's so rare, and to have that opportunity and just to make, to take full advantage of that was, truly unique, and kudos to you to that as well. Who or what is your motivation? What keeps you on the bike? What kind of motivates you to train? Or is there someone you look up to that you go, they inspire me? I'll get on my bike because I want to be something similar to like them.
Yeah, I think like again, I've always kind of grown up riding, so I've just like because I love it, and I think that is really kind of that is what keeps me going. Like I am just a fan of cycling. Like I enjoy riding, and obviously I'm not gonna kind of like lie and go like every day's easy, and it's like obviously there are days that are harder than others. You wake up at times and kind of you wake up and go, I don't feel like training today, or the weather's minging outside. Like I don't fancy it. But that's where, yeah, like then the discipline kind of comes into. But certainly, it's like motivation wise, I think it is just like I do enjoy riding my bike. I enjoy competing. I enjoy going out riding with the team and stuff when we're away. I enjoy riding with everyone in Manchester. Like just the social side, like that is the kind of the bit that keeps me going, and it is enjoyable. Like in the good days, going into the peaks and then going like riding to like cafes and stuff like that. Is all that kind of stuff just adds to motivation. And that's what I enjoy about it, and that's kind of why I do it. Like I don't want to kind of ever wake up and feel like it's a chore having to go out on the bike. And I think like when that happens, that's when you kind of know that it's like time to call it. But yes, certainly because I've ridden my whole life, I am just a fan of it and I enjoy doing it. And yeah, love being out on my bike.
No, truly. Just bringing this slightly to a close now. Fantastic stuff that we heard from you, an amazing story and very inspirational as well. Just living life to the full. What would you tell someone else within, a younger person or even someone that's got a disability or anything? What advice would you give to them, whether they want to take up sport or not? But is there anything any message you want to bring across?
I mean, yeah, I think it's just like get involved because again, it's certainly over the past like even whilst I've been involved with parasport, it's progressed so much. Like if you want to get involved with sport, there will be something for you. Like a lot of the sports now are so accommodating with parasport. Like you look at it, like again, I think it was probably since London, like when it's in the public eye, it kind of makes people sit up and go, oh, maybe this can be done, and then they start kind of like watching other power sports, like stuff like wheelchair rugby and stuff like that. Like it's just kind of crazy, and it shows that whatever impairment like that you've got, there is an opportunity for you somewhere. So I think just getting involved with something, but obviously with cycling is one that I know of. So like local bike clubs, get in touch with them. Like they'll send you down the right track to kind of they'll have contacts of who to get in touch with if you want to, like say get on the velodrome or get out on the mountain bike or like road rides. Like local bike clubs have all these contacts. If you want to get involved, they'll help you out and they'll be accommodating and stuff. And I'm sure it's like that with other sports, but obviously like cycling's the one that I've had experience in. So yeah, and like there'll always be people kind of wanting to help out and kind of like send you down the right path to kind of get what you want out of it, whether you just want to go out and enjoy riding your bike, or whether you want to then go into the competing side of things and start racing. There's kind of cycling kind of accommodates for all, which is the good thing.
No, very true. Finn, thank you so much for your time. It's been truly wonderful having this chat with you. Hopefully we can do something like this again. I'm still trying to figure out what you're doing so I can beat you later on. So if you can send me your training plan through on an email afterwards, I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, I'll hopefully see you on the start line in Paris.
Yeah, exactly. No, we got many more battles to fight, but also to enjoy as well. But you've been truly worthy competitor to ride against. I laugh at every time we kind of line up against each other because I know I'll be pushed to my very, very limit. And
I think again that does actually help in that's like everyone kind of constantly asking. It's like it does make so much difference having that in the team, because it's like, you know, that if you have an off day, or if you're kind of like not feeling up for it, you're looking and you're seeing you hamming around at like kind of like world record splits on the track, and you're like, oh, flipping it. Like that's what's got to be beaten. It's like, again, when you've got Ben as well, who's like obviously he's Paralympic champion, like on the road, like, and it's kind of like, yeah, you're looking going like, well, if I'm not going to be competing, like, yes, it's like having that internal competition does just make it so much, like, you know, that if you're going to go well in training against you guys, you know that when it comes to the world's races, you're going to be flying, because it's like it is the best few riders we've got, and it does make it so much easier in training when you've got that internal competition.
Yeah, it is a rather unique situation that, you know, the three of us find ourselves in, actually, and like you said, I think it is actually for the better when it comes to the international competitions and in putting on against the other guys in the world. But you've been a good sport. You are an amazing athlete. I wish you all the very best for the upcoming games in Paris. I will see you there.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
But no, all the best. Thank you so much for your time on this, and like I say, truly amazing messages in there as well. And this draw a conclusion to the Beyond Disability podcast for today. Thank you, everyone for listening. Cheers. Bye bye.